Emily pulled her car up to the familiar lakeside cabin, breathing a sigh of relief as she stepped out and took in the quiet beauty around her. The cabin, nestled among tall pines, overlooked the sparkling lake. This had been her family's summer retreat for as long as she could remember, and after her recent breakup, it was the only place she could think of to clear her mind and heal. The breakup had left her feeling raw and disillusioned, and she was hoping a summer away from the noise of her usual life would give her the space she needed to move on. She spent her first couple of days in solitude, taking long walks around the lake, reading on the porch, and getting back to the simple routines of her childhood summers. Slowly, the quietness of the lake started to work its magic on her heart. On her third day, she decided to take her kayak out onto the lake, a tradition she had held since she was a kid. Paddling along the shore, she let her mind wander, enjoying the gentle rhythm of the water. Just as she was about to turn back, she noticed another kayak in the distance, heading her way. As the figure drew closer, her eyes widened in surprise. "Emily?" The person called out, a wide grin spreading across his face. "Nate?" she replied, laughing in disbelief. "Is that really you?" The boyish charm she remembered from their childhood was still there, though he looked older, with a scruffy beard and suntanned skin. Nate had been her best friend during those endless summer days at the lake, but she hadn't seen him in years. He had left to travel and work after college, and they'd fallen out of touch. "I can't believe it." Nate laughed as he paddled closer, his eyes crinkling with happiness. "How long has it been?" "Too long," Emily replied, still trying to process the surprise. "I had no idea you'd be here this summer. Just got back a week ago," he said. "Needed a break from city life." "Looks like you had the same idea." Emily nodded. "I needed to get away, clear my head." "Same here," Nate replied, nodding in understanding. "Come on, let's head back to shore and catch up." They paddled back to the dock and spent the rest of the afternoon reminiscing, talking about their lives and catching up on the years they'd missed. Emily learned that Nate had spent the last few years moving from place to place, working odd jobs, and exploring. He told her stories about his travels, and she found herself laughing in a way she hadn't in weeks. Over the next few days, they fell back into an easy rhythm, as if no time had passed since their childhood summers. They spent their days swimming, fishing, and taking long hikes around the lake. Every night, they would sit by the campfire, talking about anything and everything, their laughter echoing through the quiet night. One evening, as they sat by the lake, watching the sunset, Nate turned to her with a smile. "Remember that time we tried to build a raft and almost sank it in the middle of the lake?" Emily burst into laughter, the memory vivid in her mind. "Yes. I thought for sure we were going to drown, but you just kept paddling with that broken oar like a hero." They laughed until tears formed in their eyes, and for a moment, they just sat there, letting the memories wash over them. But as the laughter faded, a comfortable silence settled between them, and Emily felt a warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. Being with Nate was different, natural, easy, like she could finally breathe. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Nate looked over at her, his expression softening. "You know, I've really missed this. I've missed us." Emily's heart skipped a beat. "Me too, Nate. I didn't realize how much I missed this place, missed you." He hesitated, as if he was choosing his words carefully. "I know we were just kids back then, but I think a part of me has always felt something for you. Maybe even more than just friendship." Emily's breath caught in her throat. She had always cherished their friendship, but deep down, she had felt it too. All those summers, the endless hours spent together, the way he made her feel seen and understood, it had been more than just childhood friendship. But was she ready to face those feelings now? "Nate," she began, unsure of how to respond. "I care about you a lot. But I don't want to risk our friendship, especially now." He nodded slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. "I get that. I don't want to mess things up either. But I think it's worth thinking about. Life is short, you know." Emily's heart pounded as she looked at him, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. "Maybe we could just take it slow? See what happens." A smile spread across Nate's face, his eyes lighting up with hope. "I'd like that." From that moment on, there was an unspoken shift between them. They still spent their days like they always had, exploring the lake and laughing over old memories, but now there were subtle touches, lingering glances, and quiet moments where words weren't needed. Emily found herself looking forward to every moment with him, feeling a sense of warmth and happiness that she hadn't felt in a long time. One afternoon, they decided to take a picnic out on a small island in the middle of the lake. As they sat on the blanket, sharing sandwiches and talking, Nate reached out and took her hand. I don't know what the future holds," he said softly, his thumb tracing circles on the back of her hand. "But I know that being with you feels right. I don't want to overthink it." Emily looked at him, her heart swelling with emotion. "I feel the same way, Nate. Being with you just feels like home." He smiled, his eyes warm and filled with understanding. "Then let's just take it one day at a time. We'll figure out the rest later." They spent the rest of the afternoon lying on the blanket, talking about their dreams, their fears, and the paths their lives had taken. Emily felt as though a weight had lifted from her shoulders. Nate didn't just make her feel happy, he made her feel safe, like she could be herself without any pretenses. As the summer drew to a close, they both knew they would soon have to make a decision. Emily couldn't stay at the lake forever, and Nate had his own life to figure out. The night before she was set to leave, they sat on the dock, their feet dangling over the water, the moon casting a silver glow over the lake. "I can't believe it's already time to go," Emily said, her voice filled with a mixture of sadness and gratitude. "This summer has been everything I needed." "Same here," Nate replied, squeezing her hand. "I didn't expect to find you here, but now, I can't imagine what it'll be like without you." They sat in silence, the weight of their feelings hanging heavy between them. Finally, Nate turned to her, his expression serious. "Emily, I don't want this to end. I know we've both got our own lives, but I want to see where this goes. I'm willing to make it work if you are." Emily looked at him, her heart pounding. She had never expected to find love this summer, and the idea of leaving him behind felt almost unbearable. But she also knew that her heart was telling her to take a chance. "I want to make it work too," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't know how we'll do it, but I know that I don't want to lose you." They wrapped their arms around each other, holding on tightly, as if they could somehow hold onto this perfect summer forever. In the days that followed, they kept in close contact, texting and calling each other as often as they could. They both knew that it wouldn't be easy, that they would have to face challenges and sacrifices, but they were willing to try. They had found something special, a connection that had been there all along, waiting for the right moment. The lake, once just a place of childhood memories, had become the starting point of something new, something real. And as they moved forward, they carried the warmth of that summer in their hearts, knowing that their love, like the lake, would always be a place of comfort and peace, no matter where life took them. Because sometimes, the best things in life are worth the risk. And for Emily and Nate, the lake was more than a retreat, it was the place